Welcome to the Property Show. I'm Jayashree. I'm editor MBTV, and we're talking about AP RERA. We're talking about a state where planned urbanization is the norm, and we're talking about the role of the RERA in the development of new cities. A state that has only 29% urbanization yet and is rapidly urbanizing. So we have Mr. Ramnath Velamati. He's the chairman of the AP RERA. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So help us understand what is the vision of AP RERA.
Definition of RERA is a Real Estate Regulatory and Development Act. We are looking at developing as the main core function of the authority, because in 2014, when the state was bifurcated and a new state of Andhra Pradesh was formed, the state was left with lesser urbanized areas, around 29%, and the state does not have a capital as yet. So there was a need to focus on how to build the capital, how to address the urbanization in a planned way. Because the earnings, the per capita income in urban areas is more than 3 times the per capita of rural areas, and there is a excessive workforce that is available in rural areas which are migrating, and if the migration happens without a planned way approach, then we will be building many cities with urban slums which cannot be corrected.
How is your planning process different from what is there in the rest of the country?
Now, planning has been an opportunity in disguise. If you look at our capital, which is Amravati in the making, it is a green field. We have acquired around 33,000 acres from the farmers under the land pooling scheme. The government of Andhra Pradesh possesses around 20,000 acres. So the sum total is around 53,000 acres. So it is a 53,000 acres of zero built up area. So this gives a great opportunity to do planning in a proper way, taking care of all the smart city functions which are across the world.
What are the elements of smart city that you will include in this? So here is a state that is coming up now. So how is your RERA authority?
So RERA has to address 3 main components: the rights of the buyers, the duties of the promoter and the developer, and the activity of the agent. So if you take these 3, we need to develop a very healthy equation between these 3 functions, so that the developers are adapting more modern methods of construction, they are improving the construction quality, they are improving the deliverable times, because as per the Act, there is a post-construction defect liability guarantee of 5 years. So these 5 years, any structural defect has to be addressed, any material defect has to be addressed, any workmanship has to be addressed. So we are educating the developers and the builders to adopt more modern methods, because from the conventional method of construction, we are moving into more modern methods like a precast. We are also going to PBU, which are pre-built units, where certain room elements are going to be made at a factory. So the idea is we are going to move from construction site to construction factory. So in the near future, we expect that we order the number of elements that are required, but this requires a lot of standardization, because if the floor height is standardized, then the staircase can be standardized. Staircase can be one of the elements in the precast. So I can order a number of staircases instead of trying to build each staircase singularly. Agent also forms a component of the triangle. So we are trying to educate the agent to make him more knowledgeable and more effective.
Problems that the rest of the country faces in terms of not adhering to approvals, to taking over time and cost overruns and so on. Have your cities must also have faced those, and how do you address that as RERA?
We are also facing the same difficulties like what we are facing across the country to address the issue of converting an existing city or town into a smart city. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to encompass the existing core area, and we are going to build a ring road in the encompass area. We are also trying to build another ring road which is a little away from the inner ring road. So between these two rings is the new area. Most of it is greenfield, some of it is brownfield. So there we have the opportunity to adapt the more modern systems with ease. Otherwise it is becoming very difficult to convert existing cities into smarter cities. We have 17 cities which are to be converted like this.
Is there a process of education of buyers as well that is required?
Buyers are also being educated, but beyond construction, beyond real estate, the state recognizes that economic development and economic activity precedes the activity of purchasing of properties. So we have a very healthy plan, what we call economic cities, as an interim cities that are being developed between the urban areas and the rural areas. So the migration from rural areas, we would like to buffer the migration by diverting these people to what we call as economic cities. We are planning 111 economic cities, each one economic city per ULB, urban local body. The economic city function is to create an economic activity, and we build the housing, we build the social infrastructure, we build the leisure and schooling and medical facilities within the same area. The idea is to have a walk to work. Anybody who is working should reach their workplace within 10 minutes. We feel the fatigue levels are much lower if you are traveling at short distances. Your productivity at work is higher, and you come back home immediately after you close your office or a factory work. So you are spending more time with the family, and it's going to lead to a happier family.
You have to create new cities, which means massive acquisition. Will land pooling be the way forward for you?
Actually, the land acquisition or land pooling or the farmers or the owners of marginal lands coming forward largely depends on the trust. And today the Chief Minister, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu, is trusted throughout the state. His word is taken as an honorable word, and just because of the word, within a short span of 2 months, the government was able to acquire 33,000 acres under land pooling. Probably this is the largest land pooling exercise across the world. So this trust is now carried forward to other cities. In many other places, land pooling is being effectively carried on. In some areas where the government has to acquire, the process is quite smooth as of now. We don't have the resistance from the farmers or from the landlords because of the transparency in the way we are acquiring the lands.
Do they participate in the growth process?
Yes, if you take Amravati, where we have 33,000 acres, we are now started an education process where the farmers who are given the land have been invited to form into multiple groups, each group containing 50 people, and each group is being trained, educated, and given all the exposure that is required to convert them into entrepreneurs in the real estate and construction sector. So they are able to value add to their own properties without letting go the property to a third party. So we are educating them, and this has been a very objective and a very positive feature. The farmers are now ready to convert them from farming to entrepreneurs.
So we talked about the opportunity to develop the real estate sector because it's a new state. How is Andhra Pradesh different from other states?
See, regulation, I would say we are looking at 20% of our activity is focused on regulation. 80% we want to do the development part. We have signed a memorandum of cooperation with Construction Industry Development Council, which is the largest body of construction industry in India. Apart from that, we also signed an MOU with Building and Construction Authority of Singapore. We are trying to bring the knowledge into the RERA platform, the knowledge of construction, the construction methodologies, construction technologies. We want to educate the builders and developers in the construction methodology. Apart from that, RERA has just started enrolling companies onto our database. These companies will be classified and graded as per the quality of materials they produce. We are also looking at grading of building materials. Consumer will know how to choose and how to demand better quality. The RERA Act says that common areas have to be registered in the name of the Resident Welfare Society. So we are trying to educate the residents of the rights, because this is the first time it is happening in the state of Andhra Pradesh. Typically, Andhra Pradesh, the common areas are registered in the name of the occupant, but in this case, it has to be registered in the society in the same proportion as the occupant.
Sir, we're talking about reforms in approvals processes. You've got a very healthy building plan approval system. Would you care to elaborate?
Yes, we have one of the India's first automated building plan approval, which is completely online. We do not require any paper to be submitted by the applicant. The entire process is online, and the approval is also given online automatically. So if the applicant is able to complete all the queries as per the defined parameters, he will be able to get the project plan approval online. Apart from that, we are trying to integrate the requirement of RERA's parameters into the same system. So in the coming months, we will be able to capture the entire data that is required both for RERA and the plan approval as a single point system. And we are also facilitating more of ease of construction, what we call. We are trying to say that you don't need to pay to different services at different points. A single point payment should be enough. The government will distribute the money to various departments, whether it's fire services or any other department.
So you were late entrance into the RERA process as a state. Was the delay because you were setting your processes in place?
No, the delay happened because of a new state. We had some delays in having a full-time officers on board, and the RERA members and the chairperson have to be nominated or they are selected from a panel by the judge of the High Court, the Chief Justice of the High Court. So the process, because the High Court was not yet divided, this took a little longer. But in the meantime, while this was taking place, the activity of RERA, the activity of making the website has always been in place. In fact, we have been awarded by the Government of India the best digital platform for website development, and we have just received a communication from the Housing Ministry that Andhra Pradesh has been awarded the best website design.
So that's planned urbanization in a nutshell. And thank you, Mr. Ramnath, for joining us.
Thank you.
Please subscribe to Magic Bricks on YouTube and click the bell icon to get new videos.